Hello, team. Welcome to another weekly sales meeting. We've got a big lineup today, a very special guest coming on a little bit later. But I'm going to get started with a couple key announcements. So, number one, trigger leads have been a pain in everybody's butt for forever. And unfortunately, they are what they are. But right now, more than ever, when it comes to purchases, when it comes to getting our clients pre-approved, we want to make sure that our clients aren't getting 6, 7, follow-up calls from different call center operations. So, somebody recently posted in Workplace an image of a customer that had obviously we did a credit inquiry for him, and there was a screenshot of his missed calls or their missed calls, and there was like 10 missed calls from a call center. So we don't want that to be the client experience. We don't want that to be, something that's interfering with our ability to give our customer the best information to go out in the market and shop for homes. So we've done a partnership with CIC Credit. We're going to be sharing all of the details in Workplace a little bit later today. We've put an entire marketing campaign around it as well for us to, for everybody internally to use it, for us to be able to show this to our clients on how they can actually opt out through the pre-opt-out option. So they don't get these trigger leads in the future. But through our partnership with CIC Credit, this will allow us to protect our clients from having a trigger lead notification. So it's a big, big deal, especially on these longer purchase cycles. When you have a customer that's shopping for 30, 60, 90 days, you don't have to worry about that. So it's a big value add. And again, a lot of us sit back and we say, we don't have to worry about the trigger leads. We don't have to worry about that situation. There's a reason why these companies spend millions of dollars per month on trigger leads. There's a conversion. Now, it might not be, everybody's client, might not be every single deal, but there is a conversion. So this will protect us. This will make sure we're staying in front of our clients and we're not dealing with any unnecessary noise. Number two, I want to talk about a big announcement, and this is really key, a key first cog in many things that are to come here when it comes to DPA programs. So you're going to hear from Katie Sweeney from AIM a little bit later, and everything they've been doing from a political action committee and a government affairs perspective. But starting in, I'm going to say December, maybe as early as November, but we'll have access to the Hometown Heroes DPA program in Florida. This is a big, big deal. This is a program that has up until this point has been exclusive to retail lenders. It's probably one of the most impactful for the consumer in that market or in all markets across the country. So, we focused on getting this one first. We've got a list of different DPA programs that everybody here has provided, and we're focused on getting these done one at a time here in the next couple months. We'll try to get a couple at a time, but the reality is this is a landmark game changer for us. It's the first time a big DPA program that was exclusively available to retail will be available in our business model. And it'll be something for us from a recruiting perspective, a serving our customer perspective, that eliminates all that friction. So big announcement. I'm going to say it'll be available by December 1st, but the goal is to have it available in the next couple of weeks in November. So that's something that we hope to have available with UWM and with HomePoint and with multiple of our lenders. So big announcement there. Number three, I want to talk about, and this is a big one. I shared a post this morning in Workplace, and focus is everything in business. And for us here at UMortgage, I talk about it all the time. Having the perspective of knowing what you need to be doing on a daily basis. Who are you talking to every day? What are you talking about? Where are you spending your time? And do those things align with your goals, with your values, and with where you're going? So, for me right now in this market, there's a lot of people that are businesses down, and they don't have a plan. They don't have a focus. They don't have any idea how to overcome the market conditions. So what they're doing is they're spending all their time on social media or in different places talking about other people. And the reality of the situation is that's for them. That's not for us. We're not going to be distracted by the noise. We're not going to be distracted by what's going on out there in the world. We're going to be focused on our goals. And this is a differentiator. This is the differentiator. The people that can stay focused, not get distracted by the noise, whether it's political noise, whether it's noise in the office, whether it's noise in the industry, like whatever those things are, it's being able to overcome the friction, the noise, and focus on your goals, focus on the things you need to be doing. And that's what we're doing here. That's why we're growing. That's why we're getting better every day. That's why we're developing the relationships that we're developing, is we're not going to be distracted by the people that want to talk about the negativity and all the bad things in the world. So, when I think about this, just to give everybody a little perspective, is at the end of the day, no one talks about losers, okay? No one. And you don't turn on ESPN and watch SportsCenter and they're talking about the team with the losingest record in the NFL or the losingest record in the NBA. Like, they're talking about the Phillies and the Astros. They're talking about winners. They're talking about teams that are dominating, doing the good things. So, to me, we're winning. We're going to continue to win. And every single observer out there knows that where we're going, how we're going about it, and the quality of the people that we're doing it with. So the noise is always going to be there. But our focus is creating life-changing opportunities through homeownership, on building a great culture with great people that are focused on doing big, big things. So stay focused, ignore the noise, and just remember, our success is all about serving our clients. Our success is all about serving our communities and doing the right thing on a daily basis. So I'm going to hand it off to Dave Higgins, and I'll be back shortly.
Happy Wednesday, UMortgage. Glad to be back on another weekly sales meeting. And I'm coming to you this week with a big, big announcement that's going to change the way in which you find resources within our knowledge library within Workplace. So the business innovation team has been working extremely hard over the last month and a half or so, and we have done a complete overhaul of the current knowledge library and how you access it. So we've reached out to you all, to LOs, to branch managers, to operations, to team members across the org, and we said, hey, what do you want to see? What would you like to have in the knowledge library? What will make your life easier to access things? Well, we took your feedback, we listened to it, and we are going to completely overhaul that starting next week. So next week, during the weekly sales meeting, while that sales meeting is going on, the changes are to the knowledge library are going to be happening in the background. So what have we changed and what's it going to look like? So what we have done is we have completely reorganized the way in which you access information, meaning that all of the categories that you now see or are going to see in the knowledge library are going to be role specific. So for example, you're going to see things such as for loan originators, for branch managers, for operations, right? The letters FOR are going to be spelled out for you so you can go, all right, what's my role? All right, well, I'm an operations team member. Where's the category? For operations. That's what I do. If I'm an LO, for loan originators. We've got sections for team leaders. We've got sections for specific, all the way down to things like in-office team members. That's how granular we went as we put these things together. So what are you going to find within those categories? Well, we'll use the LO category, the loan originator category, as an example. You're going to find things like internal contact lists. You're going to find things like the operations pod structures, recent LO-led training courses that some of you all have done, the qualifying income calculator, the live support line. The list is going to go on and on. And again, the whole way that we've structured it is you look at yourself and go, what's my role? Well, what my role is, I click on that particular category and I go and I find the resources that I need. Now, within each of the pages within Knowledge Library, we wanted to make things very consistent so that on darn near every page, you're going to see the same basic layout. And that layout is going to have three things on it. First is going to be some sort of text resources. What is this page? What's included in here? Links in some cases, but your basic text resources. Then, if we have videos of various different things, so again, things like training courses or anything else that we've shot screenshots of or videos of someone walking through Arrive, you're going to find that information right smack dab in the middle of that knowledge library page, and it's going to be an embedded YouTube video. And then the third thing you're going to see is additional resources at the bottom of that page. So let's say you're clicking around and you're trying to find something and you go, man, I can't find what I'm looking for. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see additional resources there where you can click on and go, oh, I am looking for that particular thing. It'll drive you to another section of the knowledge library, and then you'll be able to find what you're looking for. So think of just any sort of website you go to, you get to the website, you start scrolling like, I can't find what I'm looking for. Usually if you look at the bottom, you'll see links to other pieces of that same website. We took that same approach with those additional resources. So again, that basic structure, that three-part structure that you're going to see in every single page of the knowledge library, or darn near every single page of the knowledge library, is going to include first the text, the information, just general resources stuff at the top. Then you're going to see a lot of embedded YouTube videos if there are any. And then third, additional resources if what you're looking for on that page is not there. So that is going to come again next Wednesday during the weekly sales meeting. Big shout out to Megan Lapanowski on the business innovation team. She's the one that's been driving this project. So Megan, great job. I appreciate everything you're doing. You all are going to see her next Wednesday during the weekly sales meeting. She's going to be giving you a lot more context and a lot more understanding, or give you a better understanding of what exactly she's done as she's led this project from start to finish. So the official announcement, you'll see her face, Megan Lapanowski, on next week's weekly sales meeting so that she can give you the full rundown on the big update, the big changes that we made to the knowledge library. So looking forward to that. And we hope that all of you all appreciate everything that we put in, the hard work and effort that went into making this happen. And we thank you all for the feedback that you provided as well. So that's all from me this week. I'll go ahead and pass it off to our next speaker.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Sean Grapevine from the ATL Mortgage branch. Thank you to whoever just introduced me. Really appreciate it. Sure, you did a great job. Wonderful stuff there. Today, I'm here to talk about social media engagement, frequency, optimization, and all of the different platforms that I have been using. My wife this weekend, I was posting something I was like at Waffle House with her, and I was posting something to social media, and she was like, I was like, what are these people going to think now that I was like, what are these people going to think now that I'm posting to social media all the time, when I like literally in the last 3 weeks, I posted more to social media than I have in the last 2 years combined. So like, what are people going to think? And she's like, honestly, it kind of seems like you just got on Facebook for the first time and you just found out about it and you're using it like a person from like 2013, right? And I was like, that sounds fair. I was like, hopefully maybe just people think that I've been posting like this my whole life and that the algorithm just started introducing me to their feed. But anyway, that's not the point. I really have just been going hard on social media, mostly LinkedIn and Facebook. And guys, the results are great. I think there's two things that happen when you post to social media. One, you don't get like the long-term kind of results immediately that you're looking for, right? Like social media post doesn't necessarily turn into a new loan. Social media post doesn't necessarily turn into a new relationship. It is, but like there is some short-term feedback that you get in the forms of likes, comments, and shares that like kind of gird you to keep going, that encourage you, and that also teaches you what works, right? It's the quickest feedback system out there in terms of producing content. Like sometimes I post something, I made fun of the Taylor Swift album, which I thought was just going to be like a huge deal. I thought people were going to hate me for it. I posted something and literally just my wife liked it, and then my sister-in-law, and it bombed, right? But like out of the 5 times I posted that day, 4 did really well and 1 didn't. So now I know that like I'm not as funny as I thought I was. Stick to mortgages and stick to personal stuff, and it's going to work. So I've really increased the frequency of my social media posts, trying to introduce personal stuff in there. You know, that's gonna help you look like a real life person. Helpful stuff, advertising stuff, and then also trying to post a lot of video. I know some people at UMortgage are in a 30-day challenge to post every day for 30 days. And I think that is such a good idea. I'll tell you 2 reasons. One, the algorithm likes it better. It serves you to more people and it looks better. It doesn't have to look like this. You know, not everybody can have the premier broadcasting studio in the Southeast. But if it's organic and looks good and the content is good, then Facebook's gonna like it and people are going to like it. So that's one reason. It puts you in more algorithms. And then further, it gives you more views, right? My Facebook video views, which I was pretty proud of. I'm doing this like trialing a podcast broadcast right now. And I'm getting 200 to 300 views on that podcast every time I post it. I thought that was great. I posted a 2-minute video to LinkedIn yesterday about our appraisal turn times, like literally the driest subject on planet Earth. It has 1,400 views right now. Like 90 total minutes of the video has been watched. Or no, it's like a 120 earlier today. So 2 hours of like, that's 60 different people watching it all the way through being like, Sean Grapevine's appraisal turn times are worth spending 2 minutes of my time watching. And so guys, it works. It gets you out there. It's all part of the like your personal brand awareness strategy. In our branch, we have like a goal of 20 to 30 touches per person whose business we want to earn. Whether that's a client, I think that's a little more difficult, or a real estate agent referral partner, or any other type of referral partner. 20 to 30 touches is what we like. If they haven't sent us business after 30 touches, then we consider that like they're not going to send us business. But it takes so much to get to that 20 to 30, and you're going to win most of the people you get to 20 to 30 with. But you have to introduce texture, you have to change your frequency, and you have to have an omni-channel approach, right? Like a cold call is great for introducing yourself. A text message is great for offering something or, making an announcement. An email is great for business type stuff. Newsletters are great for just staying top of mind. And the rest of the stuff that we do are Facebook friend requests, that counts as one. Facebook post where somebody sees it, that counts as one. A Facebook message counts as one. LinkedIn connection requests, LinkedIn post where somebody sees it. Like those all count. Video is an incredible way to get to as many people as possible just to put you back at the top of their mind. Really, the reason real estate agents aren't sending you business isn't because they don't like you, isn't because you're not their lender of choice, isn't because they have anybody better than you, right? Like the reason they're not sending you business is because they're not thinking of you. And so whatever you can do to be thought of all the time, right? A few times a week, you need to be touching somebody's brain. You need to be touching their brain somehow, some way, through some channel. And the easiest way to do that on a mass scale is through social media. So keep posting, post a lot. It adds a lot of texture and it also gives you immediate feedback about what works and what doesn't. Facebook doesn't punish you. And LinkedIn doesn't punish you for too many posts. It really doesn't. If you're getting engagement on them, they will continue to serve you to the people who are in your, that you're connected to or that you're friends with in your algorithm, and it will do wonders for your brand identity, for you staying top of mind, and for you getting eventual referral. So go out there, post 6 times a day, see what happens, and tag me in all your posts. Thanks, everybody. On to the next person, who I'm sure is going to do really great, and I know exactly what they're going to be talking about, but I don't want to spoil it for you. So go ahead. You.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Sweeney. For those of you that I have not met, I am the CEO over at AIM, and AIM is the Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. There are lots of originators and lots of team members at UMortgage that are super involved with AIM, but if you are not familiar with us or you're new to the wholesale channel, we are the only trade organization specifically focused on the needs of independent originators in the wholesale channel. So we are here to help serve you. We've got a lot of things that we're focused on this year, so I'm super excited to hop on and give you a little bit of insight on some of the biggest initiatives that we have rounding out 2022 and rolling into 2023. So if you are not familiar with AIM, our mission statement is to protect, support, and grow the wholesale channel. That happens through working with independent originators like all of y'all, also working with our lender and vendor partners and building out networks of partnerships that help serve you in every way possible. To do that, we identified 6 major pillars to focus on for about 3 years. We started in 2022, we'll roll them through 2024, and those pillars are advocacy, outreach, membership, education, growth, and impact. So hopefully Anthony will let me come back and tell y'all about all of them in the future. But today I'm going to focus specifically on our advocacy initiatives because I truly believe that is the foundation for everything else that we do going forward. So if you have not been involved with our advocacy efforts yet, we really started focusing on them this year at the beginning of 2022. Since April, we have hired a president of advocacy who shifted from a previous role. So we have a member leader who focuses solely on advocacy efforts. His name is Brendan McKay out in Maryland. He and I together have been in DC so much this year. By the end of the year, I actually will have been in DC personally about 80 days, doing nothing but focusing on pushing legislation forward and making sure that we start to build our reputation on the Hill in DC. This is critical for anybody that was around in 2008. Y'all can tell the story all day long. If you weren't, it's probably a story that you've heard before, but brokers really got left holding the bag for a lot of industry nonsense that was going on 10, 15 years ago, and we got blamed for it. And we got blamed for it because we had a lack of leadership in place at the time representing a channel. We had a lack of representation on the Hill. And despite the fact that there was a political action committee at the time, it was completely mismanaged. And so we have really taken a lot of effort this calendar year to rebuild brokers' reputation on the Hill and really put our money where our mouth is when we talk about brokers being the best option for consumers. So that starts with proving it. We've done case studies. We have lots of statistics that we've been able to publish this calendar year. We put a big study out around National Mortgage Broker Day talking about the discrepancies between working with a retail lender and working with a broker, specifically for first-time homebuyers and minority homeowners, but generally consumers overall. We know that it is cheaper, that it is faster, and that you can work with somebody local when you work with a broker. And those are things that you don't always get working with a retail originator. So we've really started rebuilding that reputation on the Hill in Washington, D.C. We've introduced legislation in 6 different states now, and our main focus is consumer first, telling the story about why consumers are at the forefront of concern for brokers, and what's good for a consumer is good for a mortgage broker. We're telling the story about small businesses. We're telling the story about creating more diversity in the mortgage industry. And we're talking a lot about reflecting today's consumer through the originators that are working with them in their local communities. We've introduced legislation around helping disabled veterans get access to the tax exemptions that they deserve before going under contract. We've been able to pass legislation in Florida, granting access for brokers to down payment assistance programs, Hometown Heroes being the Florida program, but we're actively working on 11 other states right now. We also have legislation that we're looking to introduce in January, specifically tackling discrepancies that were put into place during Dodd-Frank regulation post-housing crash back in the 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 range. So there's a lot going on the advocacy side. We would love for y'all to get involved, and it's absolutely critical that you do, because numbers matter when we're talking to people and politicians, legislators on the Hill. And we've had 60 meetings with 60 different legislative offices since April alone. In the last 6.5 months, we've done more than most organizations do in 5 years. We've been able to do this year alone. And it's because we have activity and engagement from our members. So we need y'all to get involved. The Broker Action Coalition is our grassroots advocacy network. All you have to do is hop online, click a couple buttons, and you can throw your support behind any legislation that is relevant in your state. We also have a process where you can send us ideas. If there are things that are happening at the local level, if there are things that are happening at the federal level that you want us to tackle, send it in. It is so important that we tell your stories. We are here to represent you, to represent every single independent originator out there. And we want to make sure that we're focusing our time and our energy and our resources on the things that matter most to our members, and that is you. So hop on over to the Broker Advocacy Coalition website. I'll make sure to share the link so y'all can just click on it in the comments. I'll send it over to Caden and the group at UMortgage. But we would love to have y'all involved. It's free. It doesn't take any time at all. And if you are in a position where you can contribute monetarily, I would strongly encourage that you learn more about the Backpack. The Backpack is the political action committee that we launched in July. We raised over $350,000 the very first week just from members, which is a huge deal. It rattled a lot of cages in DC and it got a lot of attention. And it is the reason why we've been able to get meetings directly with senators and members of Congress and not just with their staff. So please learn about it. I actually have a list of everybody at UMortgage that contributed to the PAC. So big thank you to Matt Anderson, Ryan Gronweg, Nathan Einkorn, Chad Masters, Michael Wolf, Mike Alberco, Adam West, Jimmy Hobson, Anthony Casa. Y'all make such a big difference in our ability to tackle advocacy efforts that are important to every originator here. Ask those guys why they contributed to the PAC. They can tell you all about it and why it's important. I would love to have more conversations with you about advocacy efforts that we can tackle locally, specifically when working with first-time homebuyers, minority homeowners. We have case studies coming out before the end of the year focused on Black homeownership and Hispanic homeownership discrepancies. We have committees for both. If you want to get involved on a committee, Jerry Avila, Jimmy Hobson, Mike Alberco are all on committees, and we're so grateful for that. We have a lot of opportunity to get involved and to get engaged, and advocacy is where it starts. If you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to advocacy@aimgroup.com, AIME group.com, or you can reach out to info@aimgroup.com if you're interested in learning about membership options for AIM. I would be remiss if I did not mention there is a membership pricing special going on right now. Anybody on our membership team can answer questions for you. That pricing special does end October 31st. So you have the rest of this week to get signed up. If you get renewed or you sign up for one of our higher tiers of paid membership, which lets us do all of this work and hire more policy team members, spend more time in DC fighting for you on your behalf and fighting for the things that you care about, please reach out and let us know. We're happy to answer any questions. If I haven't met you, shoot me a message. I'd love to know who you are and what you care about. Katie@aimgroup.com, or you can find me on Facebook. We're so excited for where we're at closing out 2022. We have a big advocacy annual report that is going to be coming out in December for everybody who's taken an action through the Broker Action Coalition. So hop on over to that grassroots website. It is free. Like we said, it takes 30 seconds and it will make sure that you stay in the loop on any action alerts that are relevant to you related to our advocacy efforts going forward. It was great to see y'all. I know that was fast and furious today. I'd love to come back sometime and talk in more depth and answer questions about all the things that we're doing at AIM. But like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And we look forward to chatting with y'all soon. I'll hand it over.
Hey, you fam, it's Rob Pieklo with the Tampa branch. I am so excited to be part of this sales rally with these incredible originators sharing their insight on the market and the industry. I was on the market update with Austin and Sean yesterday, rambling about mortgage-backed securities and pricing, but I'm not going to be talking about that today. Don't worry. I'm going to be talking about builder relationships. And first and foremost, I want to thank this guy, Jay, for his builder relationship that he's brought to our team. We're going to talk about the builder relationship and the opportunities that reside in today's market. So first and foremost, we know what the builder environment was and how it's drastically changed from a year and a half ago. We had builders that were canceling contracts to take new buyers in at higher prices. They were taking whole communities to auction for highest and best. They were kicking buyer agents out so they didn't have to pay commissions because demand was so high. So we were in that environment, and that has clearly shifted. That's shifted. Now we're staring at builders with a pipeline of buyers that were pre-approved at 3 and 3.5% that are now staring at 7.5%. Builders are much more accommodative now that a lot of the buyers don't even qualify, but much more accommodative on using outside lenders, utilizing non-QM products, finding ways to get transactions done so these buyers can buy a home. So there's opportunity one, the obvious one. We all know we can lead in with our amazing products. We can talk about our incredible pricing. We can talk about our first-class operations team and our speed to close. But I wanted to provide a couple things, a couple non-price or service-related things that can help. These are basic processes that we can put in place that can quell any concerns about the builder and kind of what they're worried about in utilizing an outside lender. They're very scared over these processes, and these are things that we have control over, and we can create an amazing process for them. And it's a really good selling point for you to build that relationship with the builder, and even just like we have become a preferred lender with one of those major builders out there. So number one, the appraisal process. It's a huge concern for builders. A bad appraisal not only affects the current transaction that they're in, but the future transactions for that community to make sure those prices are hit. Now, they can't control that process, but we do have some say in working with our amazing AMCs and our lending partners with their appraisal wings to make sure that roster is filled with incredibly talented, high quality appraisers that have experience in that community, in those areas, and even with that builder within their community. So we can ask the builder for a roster of appraisers that they've utilized and make sure that those amazing appraisers are on the roster of our AMCs and our building partners lending wings. So that's step one. Builders don't want to have an appraiser come from 50 miles or 60 miles away that doesn't understand the community of their market that they're in. So that's step one, that they're going to really like to hear that. Step two is the early CD process. Builders don't want to have waiting periods cause a delay in the transaction. And you'll be surprised. There are a lot of lenders and specifically banks that don't allow that initial CD to go out until the final inspection and CO are in. So there's something we want to talk about. To us, seems very easy because we have a first-class operations team that get these CDs out really early. A lot of lenders don't do that. So it's a huge leg up for us in talking to them. It's one box that gets to get checked early. That's one less thing for them to worry about during the process. Lastly is the closing process. This is like the most important thing for builders. This is what they want to hear. whatever the builders may say about how their timelines go, they're scrambling at the end to get these homes completed. A lot of times they're doing final touch-ups, final finishing touches on a property to get the CO or get their final inspection done, even the day before, even the day of closing. So we want to make sure we have a really smooth early closing process so we can make sure all of our numbers and are finalized with the title company. The buyers know exactly what they have to bring so they can do their walkthrough and even close in the afternoon. And we want to make sure our lending partners are utilizing these processes. So we have a couple lending partners like UWM and Windsor that have very builder-friendly processes in place, so we can push final inspections and COs to a funding condition, so we can make sure we get all those closing documents done, finalized, and then when the final inspection or CO comes in, we can get that cleared and be ready to roll. Windsor has created customized processes to help with our builders that have made it so much easier for us to be able to close. And then when these final inspections come in, get those things cleared and get these things funded. So a really smooth, transparent, and a lot of communication in the closing process is key. And we have the best lending partners in the business to be able to accommodate that. So those are three things you want to talk about: appraisal process, early CD, and closing process. If you talk to builders about these things, you're guaranteed to have a shot, an opportunity to earn their business and maybe even become a preferred lender like we have. So that's all I have. I'm going to turn this over to Andrew. Thank you.
Hello, UMortgage team. I'm Andrew Ammons, the Director of Operations Support. I wanted to talk to you all today about the Underwriting Scenario Desk. The Underwriting Scenario Desk has a target launch date of 2 weeks from today, which will put us at November 9th. Working with the business development team, we've created a scenario template to use at the beginning of the scenario submission. This will give us some more detailed information about the file and help with the Scenario Desk team and give more informative responses. Let me tell you how it works. Step 1, the loan officer will complete the template and submit the post on the Scenario Desk page. Step 2 will be an underwriting scenario team member will review the post and accept or deny by verifying all the information is fully completed on the request. Step 3, once the underwriter scenario post is accepted, the request will then be routed to the subject matter expert to provide response to the scenario. If the post is denied, the loan officer will be contacted and advised on the steps to resubmit. Thank you all for your time. Look out for additional updates and more details to follow as we get closer to our launch date.
Andrew, and thank you everybody for sticking with us. We got 2 more slides before we wrap up. So first I want to hit on our LOMPS. So at the end of every transaction, you're going to receive a survey, just like our home buyers or our customers receive a survey, surveying them on their customer experience here for the consumer MPS. We're sending one to the LO to give us a sense of how was their experience with their loan coordinator, the processor, with their closer. And it's critical that we're sharing feedback here because this is where we're learning about the opportunities to get better. At the high level, when we hear from the customer, they're just telling us, did they get the closing on time? Do they feel well served? Like, it's super high level. Within the transaction is where we learn about nuance of, potential disclosure issues or tolerance issues that came up, or miscommunications or gaps in our processes. Like, this is where we learn. So, there's an opportunity to provide a score, and then there's an opportunity for you to provide the feedback within that transaction. And that's the stuff we want to hear. So, report up is great, but usually when we're hearing about report up, we're hearing about a process or like a high level, some high level feedback. The LOMPS is super transaction specific. It's getting into nuance. It's making sure that we're learning from mistakes. We're taking these things as learning opportunities. So we want the feedback, and this is how we get better. Last thing before we wrap up is just staying focused. We talked about focus earlier, creating life-changing opportunities through homeownership. That's the goal. Prioritizing that is super key. Keeping that top of mind is super key. That's the destination. That's where we're going. Is we want to be a company that with our team members, with our loan originators, and with people in our communities, that we're creating these opportunities. So staying focused on it. It's very easy to get caught up in the stress of missing a closing, or the stress of conditions that were added onto a file late in the process, or something not going the way that we want. But remembering that we're focused on creating life-changing opportunities. At the end of the day, these things will happen. As long as we get our consumer in the home, as long as we get the home buyer into that home, that's the key. And being the leader on the transaction with our realtors, with the title company, and making sure everybody's staying focused on the key. It's like, we're not going to point fingers. We're going to correct issues when they come up, but we're going to stay focused on creating life-changing opportunities through homeownership. That's the game. That's this business. That's why we're all doing this, and we love what we're doing. So have a great rest of the week. I appreciate everybody sticking with us for this weekly sales meeting, and talk to you soon.